campers, I'm Lester. No, I am not a city, that's my name. If you're enjoying the music that you're hearing, that's good, because I was the one that made it. Check out my music on SoundCloud, if you feel like it. Shameless plug over. Without further delay, I'm here at gunpoint to introduce this week's Benny Shakes Things Up. Without further ado, here's Benny.
Hello everyone and welcome to a special edition of Benny Shakes. We are on One Place East's Facebook page and YouTube because they wanted me and Mark to host a special edition about International Days of Persons with disability. Yeah. So, Mark, you all right?
Yeah, no, I'm good. What have you been up to today? What have you been up to?
Oh, I've been doing this. I've been advertising. My thing is, are you going to get the vaccine?
Oh yeah, the COVID vaccine. I definitely will get the COVID vaccine, because I do feel like I need to top my autism up. I don't think I'm autistic enough at the moment. I don't think I'm disabled enough. So I think I need to get it again, really. Benny, we're not live, are we?
Yeah.
Oh shit! I didn't realise. Oh, okay. Forget what I said about the vaccines. Definitely get it done, right? Yeah, definitely. If you get COVID vaccine done, you won't be autistic like me and fuck up like you just did. Right? Okay. I didn't know we were live.
Yeah, we're live. Yeah, and this time you have logged off.
Well, if I log
I've got control, haven't I?
I don't know whether you have control or not. Yeah. Well, I think I had control there, Benny. So
that's fine. I keep telling you to log off, but never mind. Shall we get our guests on this week? We are definitely shaking it up because these two people are not comedians, are they?
No, they're not. They are. They do a lot of fantastic work for One Place East.
Yeah.
Actually, so without further ado, then I will introduce Isaac, Harvey, and Safer Valley.
Hi,
welcome.
Hello. Hi.
How are we?
Yeah, we're fine. So the beginning of the show, I like to go round the room and get people to tell the public what disabilities they've got. Mine is cerebral palsy. So what's yours, Mark?
And mine.
Did that up, haven't we? He's frozen yet again. What is your disability?
So mine's a very long name. It's called limb pelvic hypo aplasia, which means I have no arms and short legs. And I also have scoliosis in my spine, which is the curvature of the spine, and I have metal work, which has fixed that.
Oh, cool. So you've got a bit of a car in your body then?
Yeah, I consider myself to be a cyborg at times. Not human, but
someone's got to be, I suppose.
yeah, that's it. Yeah.
What about you, so?
Well, I can probably give Isaac a run for his money.
All right.
My disability is just as probably long. It's called osteogenesis imperfecta.
Oh.
All right.
wow.
Well,
So I say that backwards.
yeah, that's why I said that backwards. Go on. Like, £100 if you can. So anyway, osteogenesis I can't even say the damn word. Osteogenesis imperfecta. It's also known as brittle bones. So I'm not going to say when I was little because I'm if people have seen me, you'll see how little I am. But when I was younger, I used to break bones left, right, and center. Even a minor touch would break a bone. So yeah, but as I've grown older, the bones have got stronger. And I haven't had I don't have as many fractures as I did before that I do now. So yeah, that's me.
Cool. We've got a problem. Mark, can you carry on? StreamYard is saying that people can't comment. Oh, they can. They can.
Oh, I've got.
I fixed it.
Oh, good.
Panic
Hey.
over. Panic
Nice.
over. That's all right. 30 seconds of like
Put
panic.
it up on the screen.
There we go. Brilliant.
Typical. It was that.
Sorry about that. Well,
No problem. No problem.
disabled podcast. So
I mean, if nothing went wrong.
and we have got a cyborg with us. So
Yeah.
we disrupting the wave level. Yeah, Isaac, switch your back off or whatever.
Yeah, I thought I did, but maybe yeah. Yeah, sorry about that. It won't happen again.
No.
Funny.
Cool. I forgot what you said, Bantam. So, guys, what do we want to talk about? I mean, Isaac, you was talking about access in the community.
Yeah, I can. So my experience with access. So years ago. Well, as time has gone on, access for people like myself, because I use a wheelchair to move around. I have a weak pelvis, so I use a wheelchair to get me from A to B.
Right.
Or I fly using my cyborg powers. But yeah, access has really got better over time. And I remember when there were steps onto buses and I couldn't even use my wheelchair to get on the bus. I can't even remember that time, actually. It's been so long, but I'm glad that buses do have ramps now, and stations in London are becoming more accessible for me to travel.
They're not up here.
All right.
That we are still back in. Well, the buses are wheelchair accessible, and some of the train stations you can get onto the platforms. But if a pushchair is on a train, they get priority over a wheelchair, which That's not a wheelchair. Come on, guys. Take your kid out of the buggy.
Hmm.
It folds up.
Yeah.
A,
Yeah.
a person in a wheelchair cannot go, oh, I can walk.
Yeah, let's build it up. You know, suddenly I have magical abilities.
Yeah, that's
Superpower.
Yeah,
We all have superpowers.
we all do. That's what you call it, Benny, don't you? We all have superpowers.
yes, yeah. I'd
Yeah,
agree
we got
with
cyborg, and you know,
that.
actually, we did have a comment. So Elizabeth Fanta Black said, "You're fun, Isaac. You're funnier than the comedians and a real cyborg. What more can we want?" So that's fantastic. There you
I
go.
think
You've already got your first fan. So your
yeah,
first fan was comedy.
I'm gonna be known as the cyborg now.
Change your Instagram handle, don't you?
Yeah, Isaac the cyborg.
I think that's what I'll call you from now on.
Oh gosh, what have I done? What have I done?
What have you started? What have you started?
Oh well.
Anyway, back to accessible. What about the shops in London? Can you access everywhere you want?
I wouldn't say everywhere. Some places in London still have the some steps up into the shops. And I know I went to one place and we pressed the wheelchair button outside, and they should have had a ramp, but they said the boss is not in and we can't use the ramp, and it's like we haven't had training. I'm thinking it's just a ramp, you know. You know, you got to just put it in the right place so that can go up. But yeah,
I think by now every company has got a model of disability, what they have to train their staffs. And do you know who trains them? Able-bodied people.
yeah, not surprised.
Without why don't they get us guys? There's 1 billion disabled people in the world. Give us the jobs. I'll be more than happy to go to big companies and train their staffs, especially McDonald's, but we won't go there.
I think you're onto a point though, Benny, because I've had sort of many people when I've performed that don't think I'm autistic, and they're people who are not autistic.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, surely I'm the best judge of that, really, and the people who diagnose my condition. But that's why I sort of fit into my job quite nicely, because I work in a special needs school with autistic kids, but I think that could be replicated everywhere, really.
Yeah.
You know, whatever people's conditions are, employ other people with those conditions to, you know, just help with that. And like, Safer, how do you feel about accessibility in London?
Like Isaac says, it's improved greatly, but there's so much still to do. I mean, especially traveling on buses. I mean, I often get on a bus and I see either a buggy with a child there, or what really annoys me is that there's a buggy there with full of shopping.
Oh gosh, that annoys me.
You know, and that's just, you know,
that's so annoying.
You know, why would you? Why travel on a bus with a buggy with carry, you know, just for your shopping? You know, that really annoys me.
I mean, I have a mobility scooter. I don't use it as much because I can walk a bit. but when I use it,
Mm.
the looks I get, are you really? No,
It's
Exactly.
ridiculous.
it's crazy.
You've got a comment from Ian Beaver, who of course does a lot of work with One Place East. Let's develop and sell courses to One Place East. You can all earn good money doing it. There you
Absolutely.
go, fantastic. No, I think it's a great idea because I mean, as Safer and Isaac, whoever first, maybe either of you talk a little bit about what you do for One Place East.
Yeah.
Anyone can go first.
I'll let Safe go first because I work under him.
Well, I mean, I joined One Place. It's about a year ago, on a creative project, teaching unemployed, disabled people with mental health, getting them into creative industries. So we had a project where we ran workshops every week around different areas around creativity. So we had workshops around photography, filmmaking, poetry, anything, creative. We did, and yeah, it ran for 6 months, and I was the facilitator for the project, and my good friend here, Isaac, ran the program with me. Yeah, and it was really good. And the great thing about the project was that we've seen the people that were on it, grow individually. They've become confident. They've come out of their shell, and that's really, something really good to see because you know that you've done something really well.
Yeah.
What do you
So,
think?
so yeah, to go on from Safer, it's I was so I've known One Place East for many years now, and then when this opportunity came up to be part of One Place Creative, Margaret contacted me straight away to be part of it, but also as I'm a filmmaker, I do video editing. She wanted me to film the progress and show all the participants how they've developed and what they've learned and how much they've enjoyed it. And it was such a great experience seeing them from the start of the project and then to the end. And even when it was like lockdown, we were still able to carry on over Zoom, which was great. Because we just adapted to the change, and we wanted to really not let the participants down and give them what we started out to do. And I feel we did a good job. We got good feedback, which was nice.
Yeah.
And from that, now we're still carrying on sessions bi-weekly, but it's now been opened up to not just the creative industries, but any industry. So we've done like yoga, we've done like a survey with Health Watch and a lot more. And I think we're going on till March, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah.
We've got a lot more sessions that we're planning between now and end of March. So yeah, it was a great project, and long may it continue.
Oh, well, Margaret's just put this. They are so good, we won't let them go.
Oh no!
Oh gosh.
I tell you what, let's screenshot that and the whole of it.
I will screenshot it later and I will post it.
But like, I think you guys did absolutely wonderful job and actually One Place East was sponsors of my comedy disability mental health night, and I wouldn't have that platform I have without One Place East. I just want to ask you about your courses a bit more, guys. So what do you think of other people with disabilities who have accessed those courses? What do you think the biggest thing they've got out of it, like their biggest that has helped them?
Well, I mean, sorry. One of the things that's come out of it is one of the participants has, from that gone on to do her own workshops on poetry. So we during the course we had somebody coming in to do the poetry session for us, but from that the participant herself has delivered her own poetry workshops for the very first time. So which is great, been great to see. Yeah.
And I also think giving them the opportunity that they probably wouldn't have gotten. Like, I'm going to bring you into this, Mark, allowing people to learn about podcasting. That doesn't come out of nowhere to get the opportunity to learn how to do a podcast. And, we knew you were an expert, and you helped us and you helped them learn a few things. And we managed to do 2 podcasts in one day, which was amazing.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
Without One Place East, I wouldn't have met this bloke here.
Well, I can say the same thing.
yeah, it's true.
I know. I mean, guys, keep talking up my praises. This is the massive ego boost I always crave on stage. So thank you.
I can see the smoke. I can see the smoke coming out of you. Look.
It's emulating all the ego. It's getting bigger and bigger. And that's what autistic people love, a big ego about themselves. But no, honestly, I think with One Place East and you guys and Benny, actually, yeah. So Benny, what sort of projects and stuff have you been in to sort of, empower disabled people? You would say.
In my lifetime, nothing, because there's not much opportunities around here. I used to work with a company many moons ago. I used to go in disabled people's houses and help them employ their own carers on direct payments. You guys must have direct payments down there. It's a budget what the government give disabled people to employ their own carers. But up here they've slashed the funding, so I think 50% of the care package they have to fund themselves, which in my book is wrong. It's not our fault we came disabled. We didn't wait one day and go, oh, do you know what, Mark? I think I'm going to go down the hospital, put myself in for a cerebral palsy break. What about you? What do you fancy? Do you know what I mean? So,
yeah.
Do know that there are people out there who do pay to become disabled. No,
really? I've heard of that actually.
On the website, you can put yourself in to be disabled.
Is it called? Hang on, is it called the COVID vaccine? I'm joking. Seriously, vaccinate. That was quite funny. I do a lot of jokes about vaccine, and Margaret Summers, One Place East, thought I was an anti-vaxxer, and I was like, I'm really not. Definitely get the vaccine because yeah. Anyway, so we just had a comment from Tasha Kassir. How did you guys learn to become more confident because in some places they don't take us disabled community seriously. She said thank you, and I think that's the thing. I think we are not taken seriously. So I want to get your thoughts on that, like how we're perceived, how did people sort of judge you all when they see you? What sort of judgments have you had? Like, what do people assume about you that's obviously not true? Like,
I think the biggest one is like with people, they don't think I can do much in my condition, and I get a lot of staring, and I don't know, people just don't think I'm not able to do much. And I think it's one of those things where you shouldn't really care about those things, but also on the other hand, be there to want to educate people and actually show people what we're able to do. Because I think, you know, we can't really blame a lot of people because they've not been had the opportunity to be in that position or learn about certain things because no one teaches them. So we really should be, like, some people are really close-minded and you really shouldn't bother with them. But I know there's a lot of people who want to learn and are too scared to ask or find out because they might offend us. But in my eyes, I think they should ask, because if you don't ask, you don't know. So yeah, it's kind of both ways, really. It depends down to the individual, really. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it's about assumptions, and I think a lot of the blame is probably, you know, you need to look at the media today. I mean, how many disabled people are there on your TV screens? You know,
yeah. And when they are reported on, I know with autistic people, they report on them very negatively. Like the only people I see on the news are like, there was this guy who hacked the CIA or something, and he was a guy with Asperger's living in the UK, and it was a really negative report into what he did, and it just creates this image of like people with autism and stuff like that. But yeah, negative perceptions of disability, or even lack of, as you said, Safer, lack of awareness, lack of publicity for us, lack of representation.
People just think because the way I talk, they either think I'm thick or they think I'm drunk. So serious, I did a gig on the Leicester Festival. I do a joke about it, and it was in a restaurant, and we went down for a cigarette, and I said to my mate Tommy, I'm just going in for a toilet. And I walked in and the waiter went, out, get out, you're drunk.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
I didn't realise you could get cerebral palsy by drinking. That comes to, look at this. 8% of children are disabled. 19% of working age adults are disabled, and 44% are, I forgot.
Pension-aged adults.
Yeah. So I mean, look at that. I mean, only 19% of disabled people are working. That's, you know, that says a lot about, you know, the society today, doesn't it?
And I know from the fact that over 50% of autistic adults in the UK are currently unemployed. So less than half are employed. And I just can't imagine what the statistic, if you look at every other disability, what the statistic would be for that. Because with autism, it's what they call a hidden disability. You can't see it physically, but it's the way people act and how you determine that. But I can't imagine what that statistic is like for a.
I've got them all.
Stats over here. We got stats over here.
More than 4.1 million. disabled people are in work. Disabled people are more than twice as likely to be unemployed as non-disabled people. And that's ridiculous, because I think all of us prove how valuable we are, how skilled we all are.
Yeah.
Like, say for and Isaac, I know how much you've done for One Place East and the creative projects you run. And Isaac, you're one of the better editors I know. Like, and like, say for all the creative projects you run, that wouldn't, laugh able, all these creative, like comedy, poetry, none of that would be happening if it wasn't for your skill set. Benny, same with you. This sort of giving everyone, sort of disabled people, a platform to express this. We've all got talents.
Yeah.
And so why that statistic is still that is really scary.
And we're not recognised for the talents we got.
2-3 years ago, before I got my job now, I applied for 200 jobs a week. And out of that, I've probably got, because I've got a good CV, I got 4 interviews until they called my name. And the look on their face went, oh, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, Elizabeth Fanta Black has commented, it could be so hard, though, to get employers to make the adjustments to help. And I think that's a big factor as well, because I only very recently at interviews that I mentioned my autism. Because I know people who are autistic who don't mention their autism in interviews because they're afraid of the sort of the discrimination they face as a result. And like the Disability Discrimination Act that was introduced a good 20 odd years ago tried to address that issue, but it still doesn't stop employers for doing those things. But a positive comment from Ian Beaver, I can't do half these things tech-wise that you can. I think he's referring to Safer and Isaac. Ian Beaver, of course, does a lot of work with One Place East. But that just sort of proves it, doesn't it? Like, talent, just because of our diagnosis doesn't mean we can't do things.
I have got this one, and it's true. It costs us £583 more on an average month if you're disabled.
Wow.
Have I read that right?
Yeah.
So, which is true, because I walk funny, so I go through shoes, and because I fall and all that, I'm always shopping, but I shop in charity shops because I just can't afford to go out every month and get a new pair of jeans or shoes or anything like this.
I mean, with my autism, not many people know this, comes sort of dyspraxia. So I know people just, I would say, clumsy, and a little bit of it is that, but I've broken so many things like phones and stuff over the years and everything else because of the dyspraxia that comes with the autism. And so therefore it costs a lot to then replace that and stuff like that. And no one really thinks about that. Like, actually we find it hard not to like look after things, but it is things aren't designed and made for disabled people.
No.
I don't know. They're not, and so when things break, and then we have to then replace things, and then that type of thing drives up a big deal.
I
The way
did
I,
a joke about it's not penny proof.
Yeah,
It's not. I
Yeah.
can break all sorts.
yeah.
Sorry, Isaac.
no, it's fine.
Yeah, what was
Uh,
your thought on this, Isaac?
Yeah, the way I see it is the world is disabled, really. It's the
Yeah.
world which has the disability
Exactly.
because it's not
Exactly.
accessible for everyone, so it's disabled.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know, I mean, a lot of these big companies kind of play on us, and they kind of use us in a way. If you want, if you needed to, get a new wheelchair, for example, right? How much, and to get a wheelchair that's going to be right for you is going to be probably cost you thousands and thousands of pounds, right?
That's a joke.
Now, how do companies think, that you're going to be able to, afford to spend so much on a wheelchair? Or, I mean, like, for example, I mean, I've just recently got a power add-on for my manual wheelchair, and I'll let you guess how much the power add-on costs.
I bet it's round about the 2000 mark.
Go on, Mark.
What, your power handle?
The power add-on.
The
So
power
it's,
add-on?
yeah.
About a grand. I'm gonna go.
Well, shall I tell you? It cost £4,700.
Wow,
Jesus, really?
Yeah,
wow,
more than a car.
gosh, that's
That's a
crazy.
joke. That's an actual joke. That's your way to get around.
Of make
Like,
exactly.
that's your way. Like, it's like charging someone £4,000 to have
Yeah.
a pair of legs to
Yeah.
walk and run. That's
It's
ridiculous.
No, that's crazy.
I mean,
Like, I'm
your
an able-bodied person and charging
Yeah.
them to walk.
do you know what I mean? I mean, yeah, your wheelchair, Isaac. How much do you reckon your wheelchair costs you?
Yeah, Isaac.
Well, the thing is, so I got through the wheelchair service, so I didn't have to pay anything for it. But yeah, it would be very expensive.
Yeah.
But going on with like the wheelchair service, I've been very lucky to get the wheelchair. But I've heard loads of people. So I'm again with One Place East, I'm part of a wheelchair forum, and you hear other people in wheelchairs, not getting the suitable chair that they need, and they talk as if it's a need instead of the way the wheelchair service talks to the disabled person is as if it's a need instead of a need. Like they need it to get around, they need it to be comfortable because that's how they do their day-to-day life. But it's like, oh, you want this, you want that. No, I need it.
Exactly.
And it's ridiculous. Like, why should we be complaining about something that we need to live our life?
And I think it's the point you made earlier, Isaac. The world is disabled. It's the social model of disability all over again. They define us as disabled. And it's actually the world that doesn't accommodate us. We have to accommodate the world.
That's it.
And there's something so wrong about that. I was just saying, Lester Shipley I was texting a potential date for 3 weeks. I told them I was schizophrenic and I haven't heard from them since. I mean, obviously, schizophrenia is a mental health condition.
You say before you go off, Lester is the guy who produces the music and the voice of everything.
Oh, brilliant. It's great to have you commented, Lester.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
I think Lester's comment, how many times has that happened with disabled people? That people then just judge. When you say you have something, when you say you're diagnosed with something, people make judgments. They assume, and they go, "No, I don't want to know you because of this diagnosis you have."
Yeah. Well, I mean, my add-on that I've got, I tried to get that through the wheelchair service. about 4 years ago, right? And only at the beginning of this year, they got back to me and said, "Oh, we can't provide it."
That is,
So I mean, they could have easily have just said, "Sorry, but we can't provide it then and then." But they made me wait 4 years to get an answer, right? But
Wow.
luckily, I got it funded through the Osteogenesis Imperfecta Society. So they funded it, but even that, you have to prove that you have to give them your blood basically to
well, if it breaks down in 10, 12 years, give me a call and I'll send you one of my lawnmowers.
yeah, I might need that actually. Yeah,
Oh, dear.
yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, it's get you going.
That's it. That's the world we're living in at the moment, isn't it?
It's crazy.
We've still got a lot to fight for.
And
Oh,
especially with COVID, especially with the pandemic, actually disabled people are at more risk than most other people.
yeah.
And it's just, it's a scary time to live in at the moment. So actually, our lives are made less accessible.
Again, are we going to be further up the list or are we going to be last on the list for the injection?
I mean, the list I've read for the vaccinations so far is focuses obviously at elderly and social care.
Yeah.
And fourth on the list is anyone who's extremely clinically vulnerable,
Right.
16 plus. So I don't know what you need to justify that you're extremely clinically vulnerable.
Mm.
I know for me personally, I don't fall into that category, but I don't know about anyone else on here. And actually, will they make us jump through more hoops to try and get a vaccination that we probably should all get? Like my school is that I work with so many disabled children, and my school is still open, and it's still functioning, and it's incredibly risky and dangerous for them at the moment, and it's so hard to keep them safe, whilst at the same time giving them a fulfilled education. But yeah. Jan Mitchell put should be first on the list. Absolutely, 100% agree with that.
Agree.
100% agree. We don't get enough recognition. But yeah.
Yeah.
Should be first on the list on most things.
And we're not.
Absolutely.
No.
And we're not. And we're not. We're not.
Yeah.
Hey, ho, no. You live your life.
There's a lot of understandably, there's a lot of negativity because it's International Disability or International Day of People with Disability. Yeah, right. But and there's a lot of negativity, there's a lot of barriers that we have to overcome. But is there sort of any positives? Like we want to talk about sort of positives that have happened as a result of maybe sort of accessibility and things like that, something we can push on towards. I don't know. Anyone
Isaac, is it you who's jumped out of an aeroplane?
Yeah.
Fair play. I want to do that, but it's not my disability, it's my height.
Oh,
I can't
all right.
do it because I'm too tall.
Oh, I didn't realize there was a height restriction.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, I don't think they'd ever let me do that.
Yeah. Do you fancy it?
Oh, no, not really. To be honest with you.
What is Margaret?
No.
So do you think that since March, the rights of people with disabilities have been adversely affected? And if so, how?
Yes, please do. Well, can I just go? Well, one, it was hard to get a job before COVID. There's no point trying in my eyes at the moment. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I've got a part-time job, but if I was looking again, that no, I've got no hope.
Yeah.
Paper and Isaac, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, the lockdown has definitely, impacted on the lives of disabled people. Hospital visits,
Yeah.
you there has been non-existent. I yeah, so it has been expected, and I think people kind of forget that. Even um, care support at home. I know friends of mine who's had their support stopped because of the lockdown, because the support work, the carer wasn't, didn't want to didn't want to. So
Yeah, and for me, I've like what Safe said, I know a lot of people whose care has been stopped, and I know some people have not been out since March, which I think is crazy to think. Um, I had to self isolate for 2 weeks because I was in contact with someone, and that made me go a little stir crazy just being in for 2 weeks. Um,
Yeah,
so for being in since March, I just don't, that's really going to be a long term effect which is going to have on people. And again, mental health is going to be a big thing after all of this is done.
yeah.
And that's going to skyrocket, and there's going to be, it's going to really have a long effect long term from all of
But
us.
you've just brought it up, Isaac. Mental health. I mean, I think it was 4 or 5 weeks. When did we do that charity gig for One Place East, Mark?
Oh, that was
4 weeks
13th
ago.
of November. 13th of November it was.
So for 5 weeks ago, I've got really low depressed, and my nurse put me on antidepressant medication, but the mental health team have just gave me a call this week to say we've just got your referral. Do you need support? And I'm like, I'm okay now, but thank you for. So it's taking longer
Hmm.
to get the support you need.
yeah.
I don't know about London. Have you got more support down there in mental
Oh,
health? And,
I think it depends on what you're going for, because I know someone we work with, Georgina, she was she has certain shoes that she needs for her to walk, and because of the pandemic she was seen quicker than usual.
oh,
So I guess it just depends on the what you're needing, but I can't say that for everyone, because some people probably have to wait longer. So like I had my chair yearly, it's yearly serviced, and I needed new wheels, and he came in within 2 days with the new wheels,
oh,
so
that's good.
which was quite fast. So
Yeah,
yeah.
mm,
So a statistic I just read, hang on, I'll try and post that
I've
now.
got some more statistics.
Um, so hang on, I'll show. So more than 15 million people, 30% of the UK population live with one or more long-term conditions, and more than 4 million of these people will also have a mental health problem. people with long-term physical conditions are more likely to have lower well-being scores than those without. So, although this is a disability awareness day, it's a very clear fact that people with disabilities will more likely have mental health problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just because of the way we're treated. I think a lot of the time it's because the way we're disregarded, treated, especially during the pandemic. Our mental health will suffer more as a result. That I think that's something no one thinks about. Everyone always thinks about, oh, they focus on your disability, but they don't focus on how how you're treated when you're disabled and how that impacts on your mental health.
Yeah.
They don't think about that.
Yeah.
They just see you as a disabled person. I don't see what's going on in here.
And also, they see a price tag. If you're disabled, it's like, right.
They're rubbing their hands together, aren't they?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
cost me
Yeah.
100 quid. I can knock it out at 50 quid.
Yeah.
But to you, it's £2,000.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah,
That's it.
So
yeah, it's true.
I have got one more statistic if you want to read it out, Rob.
Poverty after housing costs, the proportion of working age disabled people living in poverty is 26%, is higher than the proportion of working age non-disabled people, 20%. And that is shocking. That
Yes.
is absolutely shocking. And actually that is partly down to, and I really don't mean to go on a bit of a rant here, but that is partly down to people having their PIP or their their PIP or their DLA, whatever it's called, or their employment support allowance taken away, their benefits sanctioned,
Yeah.
and then them having to try and scrape by with anything they've got, but then to have their benefits reinstated when it turns out that it was the wrong assessment. And I've spoken to so many disabled people that have been through that. They've been through weeks and weeks and months of an awful work capability assessment. And with long-term conditions, a lot of them, they review it every year, even though they're long-term conditions. It's like, no, we need to review it every year, but I have this for life. But we need to review it every year. Why? Like, and I think that's a large way. It's the way we're treated in terms of when we try and get support. But yeah, sorry, that's
No, you're right. I mean, when I had my PIP assessment, I went downhill. I knew I was going to lose my PIP, but I didn't. But the only reason why I didn't is because I had the right doctor, the right care plan, the right carers to, when they phoned up to say, look, you're asking him to go in, you've got no chance. So I'm one of the lucky ones. What about you two guys? Are you on PIP or?
Yes, I'm on the PIP. I think it's PIP.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you on high, low, medium?
I think I'm on the high.
Yeah.
I think I'm on the high as well. Yeah, I think I'm on the high as well. Yeah.
And what's your experiences with the assessments, the way they assess? How have you found it?
I think some of the questions that they ask is a bit ridiculous. I can't think of any right now, but I know it's like, it's quite obvious with some answers. It's like, why am I answering this? Which again goes back to like the tick box exercise, really. I just think some of it's just not needed. It's just not needed.
Yeah, and I mean, when they do their assessments, if they, either call you in and they can see you physically, rather than just give you a long form to sign, without, going through the details. That it's obvious that you need the support.
Tash is saying something. Do you just want to read that one?
Right, so mental health issues should be recognised as physical disabilities. Do you agree? Well, I mean, there is evidence to suggest that actually your mental health does impact you on physically. We know that people with depression experience physical symptoms. So do people with anxiety. They experience a number of physical symptoms which can leave them bedbound for days. So yeah, there is definitely an overlap with mental health and disability. That obviously, One Place East does a lot of work with overlapping, but there's certainly something to be said for that. Um, yeah, I think that. But what do you all think?
There is definitely an overlap, and even the other way, physical disabilities can affect your mental health. Um, so it works both ways, really. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. And
I,
that's a good point there. You know, the the people questions are so intrusive. Yeah, that's true.
I read that one, Mark.
Yeah, the questions are so intrusive, and a lot of people are affected by them. Well, I think as Safer and Isaac, you both really, yeah, that echoed your thoughts on that because there are probably ridiculous questions that you shouldn't have to
Exactly.
hoops you shouldn't have to jump through. But like, it's like it used to be. You go to your doctor and they assess you, and then that's it. Now it's all these loopholes, and it's harder and harder for disabled people to get the support they need. Regard,
I mean, I'm lucky. I've got friends around me who, when my carer couldn't come anymore, someone came and jumped on and helped me. But how many people out there with a disability haven't got that support
Yeah.
and haven't got one place east in their corner? Because come on, guys, there's not many disability charities out there because the government keep bringing them in house.
Hmm. Yeah.
So
Because a lot of people don't have confidence to really say how they feel, and there's a lot of people which are get unheard, which is such a shame. Millions get unheard, that we don't even know about, and they're being mistreated by these ridiculous questions when they should be getting a higher rate, or yeah, should be getting their right rate really to live a normal life.
Hmm.
but yeah, obviously it's important to point out that if you are living in Redbridge and other areas of sort of East London and you need support with that, then you can contact One Place East. I think if you're listening to this outside of that, I think there are other services you can use like
yeah,
Mencat, Scope, and other sort of disability charities that are available nationwide as well. So I think it's one thing we need to do with International Disability Day is point people in the way of where they can get support as
well,
well.
there are quite a few advocacies around the country as well, and they can put you in the right direction if you need information. Or, like you said, Mark, Scope is a big online charity, so they've got several things. But I'm sure if you phoned One Place East and you don't live in that borough, I'm sure they will help you to go to the right people. So,
Yes,
I'm
they,
sure, I'm sure.
they would direct you to the right place.
Yeah, yeah, they would. They absolutely would. Yeah, but as I say, if anyone has, and this is also a chance for people to ask some questions. So if anyone has any questions for any of us, feel free to ask as well. So this is, I think, I'm not sure if you either Isaac or Saper said it. I think one of you said earlier that you'd rather people ask questions
Yeah,
about disability, but don't worry about being offensive. You'd rather someone ask than make assumptions.
that's
Absolutely.
it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
No,
No, I always prefer it.
absolutely.
If you
but
don't
yeah,
ask, you don't know.
Yeah.
exactly. Um, right, are there any sort of projects that either of you would like to sort of advertise? Say for Isaac, anything
Uh,
you'd like to talk about? Any projects?
yeah. So, yesterday, as we spoke about, it was International Day of People with Disabilities. And I went to one which was really well done by Barking and Dagenham. But on the 8th, we are doing one. One Place East is doing a Disability Day, International Day of Disability Day, where we're going to have workshops in the morning,
Yeah.
and then we're going to have like a sing along and celebration in the afternoon. And yeah, places are still open, and we want people to join in on the fun
cool.
on the 8th.
All the events. I'll just put the link to all the events now for One Place East. There's got a lot happening with One Place East. I'll just put it in now. If you want to look at the events for One Place East,
Yeah.
they
And
are.
also at the end of the show, there is a trailer with some of One Place East's posters going across. So yeah,
Also, as well, I'd like to point you in the direction of obviously One Place East does a lot of great work, especially with sponsoring like this. So I run a disability and mental health night. It's an accessible night for comedians with disabilities and mental health to perform. It's absolutely fantastic night. Benny will be headlining. That's the one downside to it. I'm
you know I can do this. And yes, he's gone. Yeah. Oh,
but then I can just do this. Right, it's my house. No, honestly, do come along. They are free tickets. It's a virtual event as well. So I'm just going to put it up on there.
you can do it if
Yeah, it's up on there. If you go to click on that link, Laugh Label, it's free virtual tickets to this amazing comedy night. It's brilliant. It's sponsored by One Place East, and Benny will be headlining.
yeah.
It'll be absolutely brilliant.
And also, as people know, I do a podcast every Friday called Benny Shakes Things Up. You're more than welcome to come and watch online. It's at 8 o'clock. We've got great guests next week. We are going to shake things up again where we have one comedian and maybe a promoter, a non-disabled promoter, to get their reviews on how can we work together. So yeah, That
sounds
should
good.
be good. And I think me and Mark are going to do some StreamYard sketches of with
And
December, so tune in for that.
tune in for some
Awesome.
sketches where which will be happening a lot.
Yeah.
And I can do that.
Man, get that button.
I know, I love this button. It's great. Right, before Benny shows the trailer, anyone else want to finish on some comments about this podcast today?
Donation.
Oh yeah, donate. Please donate to One Place East.
Yes.
Below, it's been below PayPal.me/One Place East.
Oh, hold on.
Or go on their Facebook page and you can scan the barcode as well. So,
Absolutely.
anything else, guys?
Yeah, I would like to say something. It's been great being part of this, and thank you all for coming to talk about what really matters and recognizing that we're all human and we're all part of something big, and we're here for change, which I think we're all for, and I'm glad we were able to speak about it on this podcast.
Thank you for letting me and Mark do this.
Yeah, so much.
Well, no, I was going to echo what Isaac said. You know, is that I mean, you know, it's International Day of Disabled People. People with disabilities, so we need to celebrate that. So you know, let's not focus too much on the negative, and let's celebrate our ability rather than our
Just a disability.
our disability.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
I think that's spot on there, mate.
Yeah.
Before we end the show, don't go, Isaac and Sal. Don't go because we'll have a chat after. But thank you for coming on. Read it out for the podcast.
It's been a pleasure to watch, especially Benny kicking Mark out. That is my Thank you very much, Jody. He's also an employer. He's an employee of One Place East. So just to let you know that Jody's boss, that Jody is coming on here giving abuse to disabled people. So you might want to look at that, Jody.
I gave her permission.
Jody wasn't up as it is.
Anyway, goodbye, everyone, and we will see you at the next show.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm afraid that's all we have time for tonight from Benny and the gang. Please remember to subscribe and click on the bell for more notifications on the next installment of Benny Shakes Things Up. If you want to support the podcast or you like the jingle from Leicester in Nottingham, please click on the links below. Adios.